www.ci.missoula.us/webcasts. We're live on cable channel 190 and streaming on YouTube. If you would like to comment this evening on any items, you may do so by dialing 1-253-215-8782 or any of the other numbers that you see there. You may also leave us a voicemail at 552-6012. And you can also email the council. All that information is available on our website. All council members are present except for Ms. Harp. This evening, we have minutes of the meeting of May 18th, but they're not available for your review. So we'll wait on that. We do have a committee schedule, and I'm assuming we cannot hear Ms. Rabine, so I will read the committee schedule for you. On Wednesday, the 3rd of June, we have an Administration and Finance Committee meeting that begins at 9:15. At 9:50 a.m. is a Public Works Committee meeting. At 11, the Committee of the Whole will meet, and at 12, the Land Use and Planning Committee will meet. Those meetings are they're all virtual, actually. Same place, ladies and gentlemen. Are there any changes to the committee schedule? All right, seeing none. We will move on to the public comment portion of our agenda. No one is in the waiting room at the moment, so we'll move on to our consent agenda. Ms. Rabine is still mute, which means I get to read the consent agenda, which should be exciting for everyone. First item, ladies and gentlemen, is a motion to ratify claims in the amount of $232,605.70 for checks dated May 26th, 2020. Item number 2 is to approve claims in the amount of $284,611.17 for checks dated June 2nd, 2020. The third item is for the City Council to adopt a resolution relating to up to $15 million sewer system revenue and refunding bonds, Series 2020A, and up to $1,500,000 taxable sewer system revenue refunding bonds, Series 2020B, authorizing the issuance and calling for the public sale thereof. Next is to set a public hearing for Monday, June 8th, 2020, to adopt the 2019-2023 City of Missoula Annual Consolidated Action Plan for Housing and Urban Development Funded Programs. Item number 5.5 is to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the sidewalk and curb ramps maintenance agreement with the Montana Department of Transportation for the Broadway Maple Sewer Main Extension Project. And the last item is to approve and authorize the mayor to sign Appendix C to the state maintenance agreement with the Montana Department of Transportation for the Russell Street chip seal project, cost reimbursement of $85,174. Those are the consent agenda items. I understand someone was interested in separating item number 5. Is that correct?
Yes, I would like to separate 5.5, please.
Okay. Is there any discussion on any of the consent agenda items? Mr. Ramos, raise your hands in the box and I will take care of you, I promise.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was just hoping we could divide item 5.1 as well, just to some Mount Water legal bills.
Okay. Ms. Vasika, did you have anything else?
Yes, in the committee meetings was 2 weeks ago, I expressed my discomfort with the contract agreement with the Department of Transportation, and I didn't get any clarifying answers from the staff. I just, this agreement seems like we're getting the bad end of the deal on this, and so that's why I'm going to be voting no on this one.
Thank you. Further discussion? All right, seeing none, we have no one in the waiting room. So we will have a roll call vote on, we'll start with item 5.5. And I will be, oh, I'm sorry, I've got a caller. Let me see. Hello, caller.
Hi, this is Caroline Lauer. I'm sorry for not being able to get in when it was just public comment. The technical difficulties, I had a bad echo while I was trying to watch the stream. But I just wanted to first thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your joint statement on George Floyd, and then invite all of you to the Friday event showing up for racial justice at the courthouse on at 5:30. I think it would mean a great deal to the entire community to see all of our elected officials standing in solidarity with our community and communities across the country. So just wanted to formally extend that invite and thank you all for all the work you do, and hope you have a good night and a good rest of the meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Lauer. Seeing no additional comment out there, we will have a roll call vote on item 5. And I will call the roll, and this may be a little bit challenging, but we're going to get through it. I'm going to go in the order I see. Ms. Cheryl.
Yeah.
And Mr. Ramos.
No.
Mr. Von Lossberg.
Yes.
Mr. Contos.
No.
Ms. West.
Yes.
Ms. Jones.
Yes.
Ms. Merritt.
Yes.
Ms. Becerra.
Yes.
Ms. Wasika.
No.
Ms. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Hess.
Yes.
And that's 11 votes all in, and I counted 3 no's, so that must mean 8 ayes. Nod if you agree, Marty. Okay. And Mr. Ramos had asked that we vote on item 5.1 separately. And once again, Ms. Cheryl,
Yes.
Mr. Ramos,
No.
Mr. Von Lossberg,
Yes.
Mr. Contos,
No.
Ms. West,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Merritt,
Yes.
Ms. Becerra,
Yes.
Ms. Wasika,
No.
Ms. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Hess.
Yes.
And that's 8 ayes, 3 nays. And on the remainder of the consent agenda, Ms. Cheryl,
Yes.
Mr. Ramos,
Yes.
Mr. Von Lossberg,
Yes.
Mr. Contos,
Yes.
Ms. West,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Merritt,
Yes.
Ms. Becerra,
Yes.
Ms. Wasika,
Yes.
Ms. Anderson,
Yes.
and Mr. Hess.
Yes.
And that's 11 ayes. So Marty, I'm getting a message that we have a horrific echo on MCAT. So are there any monitors on in chambers?
Mr. Mayor, if you look at everybody, it does appear that Marty's computer does not have her, that she's not muted. You know, when people take on and off mute, it appears a little, there's Marty being muted.
I just did that. Marty,
Good
can you hear me? Marty, can you hear me? Ms. Rabine, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me.
We can hear you in the. Yes.
So now suddenly we can hear you.
I don't think you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yep.
I'm listening to you right now.
I can hear you.
And we can hear you. There's a hellacious echo on MCAT. All right, and we're just going to forge ahead. And again, folks in the audience, I apologize for our technical difficulties. We will get those sorted for our next meeting. We have no comments from city staff, agencies, boards, commissions, authorities, or the community forum. We do have one special presentation in the form of the proclamation this evening. And forgive me, I have to make it big enough so that I can see it. Ladies and gentlemen, whereas everyday gun violence kills 100 Americans, Americans are 25 times more likely to be murdered with guns than people in other developed countries. 50 women are shot to death by intimate partners in an average month, and 62% of firearm deaths in the United States are suicides. And whereas firearms are the second leading cause of death for American children and teens aged 19 and under, nearly 1,700 children and teens are killed with guns in the United States every year. And whereas support for the Second Amendment goes hand in hand with keeping guns away from dangerous people and protecting public safety, and whereas June 2nd, 2020 would have been the 23rd birthday of Hydea Pendleton, a teenage girl who was shot and killed weeks after marching in President Obama's second inaugural parade, and we honor the lives of lost human potential of Americans stolen by gun violence on this day. And whereas anyone can join this campaign by pledging to wear orange on Friday, June 5th, 2020, to help raise awareness about gun violence, encourage responsible gun ownership, help keep our children safe, and to do all we can to keep firearms out of the wrong hands. Now, therefore, I, John Engen, Mayor of the City of Missoula, in the state of Montana, do hereby proclaim June 5th, 2020 as National Gun Violence Awareness Day in Missoula, Montana. We have no public hearings this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Communications from the mayor. Just a couple of notes. One is it's been a really challenging week, another challenging week in the United States and in many communities around the country. And today, once again, I saw a lot of young folks demonstrating and exercising their First Amendment right with regard to violence against people of color. And I really appreciate that those young folks are out there. I think we collectively share outrage here, and we share collective concern. I've had a couple of conversations today, in fact, 3 with Missoula Chief of Police Jason White. Chief White reached out yesterday to Diverse U, which is a coalition of students at the University of Montana who represent a variety of clubs, including the Black Student Union, Pacific Islanders Club, and others. Chief White reached out so that those folks would know policies and procedures that we're engaged in at the City of Missoula, and to talk about their needs and their interests. Chief White and I also talked about our training today, which is extensive, and our plan is to issue a statement this week so that folks know what our training protocols are. But I can tell you that Chief White is interested in additional training, particularly around implicit bias, which he is a trainer in. We're extraordinarily lucky here at the City of Missoula that our police officers are absolutely committed to public service. They are well trained, and they take their responsibility very seriously. Our mission is to take care of our friends and neighbors in this community. And when people see police officers in other communities actively acting in ways that are both illegal and immoral, it shakes the trust in our police force. And I can tell you that I have tremendous trust in the men and women of the Missoula Police Department and its leadership. But we can always get better, and we are going to do that. We're going to continue our training. We're going to learn from the mistakes and in some cases the crimes of others, and continue to be a safe community for everyone. With that, I will turn it over to you all, and we'll begin general comments from council members this evening with Ms. Cheryl.
Thank you, Mayor, and thanks for those comments. It's been a hard week worrying about our country and our humanity, watching some of the video. I've been thinking a lot about the power and the privilege of sitting in this seat. We know that many things right now are being left to cities and states to handle. We've talked about that in previous meetings. You know, and I think that this is one of them. So I'm really appreciative for your comments, Mayor. I think that similar to climate change, that racial justice and social equity are things that we need to be looking at every single decision we make through that lens. And so it's weighing heavily, I think, on a lot of us this week, and we need to be part of that change. And I obviously have no great solutions tonight, but I feel very committed to that being a lens of everything that we do.
Mr. Ramos.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to echo your thoughts and Ms. Cheryl's thoughts. Like everyone, I was outraged and horrified by the actions of not only the officer that was directly implicated in the assault, but also the officers sitting around watching that. I mean, I can't think of any Missoulian, let alone Missoula officers, that would sit around and just watch that happen when you've got something like that going on. Also wanted to give a tremendous amount of credit to you, Mr. Mayor, that our police force, while you and I have our disagreements on how many are staffed, we can all agree that they are very well trained. They're great people, and that's a lot in large part due to the level of care that you do in selecting officers and in the training of those officers. So I think it's phenomenal. I hope that there's no Missoulians that are afraid of these officers, because most of them, if not all of them, I only say most because I haven't met quite all of them, but all the ones that I've met, they are incredible people, just doing their best to keep the community safe. And it's more than just a job to them, it's a lifestyle. And I think it's incredible. And I also think it's great that people are out voicing their thoughts on this matter, and it's this type of peaceful protest that is going to make the country and the policy better. So thank you again to everybody who's helped make Missoula's police force one of the best in the country.
Mr. Von Losper.
Thanks. I think those comments, Mayor, about collective outrage and collective concern capture certainly what I and many of my colleagues have been experiencing over the past week. I want to echo some of the previous sentiments. I reached out over the weekend to the Black Student Union and hope to establish a dialogue and a relationship there, as well as with other organizations on campus and throughout the community, and indeed across the state. I was thankful for their work organizing the rally that happened on Friday, and many of the comments resonated with me about this being an issue that doesn't affect any single group of people. It's an issue, specifically the injustice and inequity over decades that affects all of us. And I was particularly moved by former President Obama's comments about our collective responsibility to build a new normal. And specifically, he said one in which the legacy of bigotry and unequal treatment no longer infects our institutions or our hearts. And I think you put it really well with those words. I think we have a collective responsibility to help build that new normal. We've often done good work on that front in this community because of the people in this community. And I recognize, and many of my colleagues have mentioned in conversations, that we can and must do more. And I think a big part of that is, building the relationships where they don't necessarily exist, building new ones. I look forward to that opportunity. I've also been in communication with Chief White, and we're looking to have him into a committee meeting. I believe we should be able to work that out for next week. And I appreciate the outreach that he's done to various folks in the community. It's a good place to build from going forward. So thanks.
So, so ladies and gentlemen, I am getting messages that the stream is unintelligible. I don't want to do this, but I am going to adjourn the meeting I'm going to recess the meeting to see if we can get this dialed back in. I apologize. Ms. Rabine, can you hear me? Ms. Rabine? So I'm telling you to stop the stream and broadcast.